Hey guys, what's going on? Kulprit here, and that's right, this is my turn. It's my turn to do the Battlefield 4 multiplayer trailer breakdown. I'm going to call it my super duper ultimate comprehensive times infinity breakdown analysis video. I'm just poking some fun at some of the videos I've seen in my sub box. But hey, man, I don't blame them. This is the fun time. This stuff is the, we've been talking about Battlefield 3 for 2 years. We got new content, exciting new content. So this is fun. Please forgive all of us for, kind of overlapping each other so much. So in that effort, I'm going to try to talk a little more analytical and a little more insight into how this might play out rather than just pointing out things on the screen. I hope that adds a little different flavor for those of you that have already seen 3 or 4 of these. So let me know how I do in the comments if you want me to keep doing some of these as new information comes out. So getting into it, let's just talk about some of the things. I'm going to stop it here. I'm going to talk about some of the things I noticed right away watching this. First thing, 5-man squads. How's that going to affect? Well, it should be, theoretically, we don't know all the details, but extrapolating off Battlefield 3, one more guy to spawn off of. So in theory, that should speed up play a little bit, should make it harder to defend, harder to get those squad wipes, that type of thing. One thing I haven't really heard anybody talk about, how's this going to affect squad rush? Is there even going to be a squad rush? We don't know. We haven't heard any details. God, I hope so. I love squad rush, and the idea of 5v5 squad rush could be pretty fun. One extra guy adds to the chaos, a little more teamwork theoretically. So it'll be really interesting to see how that plays out. Next thing I noticed, obviously, a lot more like utility, a lot more items, attachments, that kind of thing. You see the little menu at the bottom in the middle. You see the alternate optic, the main optic, and there are the iron sights in there. I don't know how they work, but I have seen them. We saw them in the previous trailer. They are in here. One of these trailers I saw them. But you can see 3, 4, what is that, T and V, obviously the alternate optic, obviously your class, your equipment or something like that. Your underslung, it looks like the 320 here. I'm assuming that's the ammo maybe. I'm not really sure how all these things play together, but it just seems like you have a lot more utility on you, or at least it's presented in a much more usable way. But clearly we're getting the alternate optics, which is pretty cool. We kind of knew that already, but now we're seeing it integrated a little more fully. And lastly on the screen, I'm going to talk about the squad kind of perk progression, that kind of thing. Sure seems like you start from 0, as these guys just airlifted in, obviously, and we have 4 squad perks in essence, and you don't stack them as per Battlefield 3, but what you do is from appearances, and I've watched a lot trying to pick these things up. First of all, I've noticed that none of them changed. So at least at this point in this pre-alpha build, they're not changeable. I hope they're changeable. I hope we have a variety. Maybe the squad leader can then determine them, pick them when he's dead, and he can rearrange. I don't know. Maybe it has to be picked before the match. I think that would be pretty cool. Be like picking things to kind of, all right, we're playing this map, we need some sprint, we need some ammo, we need some smoke, let's do that, and then your squad works to it. So now in theory what this does, I think it's going to be more squad order bonus. You see those pop up in the trailer here and there, basically encouraging people to listen to the commander, listen to their squad leaders. Always a good thing. So I think as those points accrue, you're going to obviously get to the next tier and you're going to get another buff. So this helps those 2 or 3 man squads that we all end up in every now and then. You can now theoretically get all the buffs, because you know that if you wanted, didn't want to be in a crappy squad, and you wanted to go your own, you pretty much knew you weren't going to get the buffs. Maybe you'd get another guy jump in on you, you'd get 2 buffs instead of 4. This should remedy that, all the while encouraging you to play more as a team. I think it's a good thing. I just hope there'll be a little more customization. I just hope it's not all sprint, grenade, ammo, that kind of stuff. Just that what we're seeing here. It's kind of silly, I think, that you start with sprint. If you're starting with sprint, why not just make the people move faster? I don't know. There's going to be some balance there. We just don't know enough about it. And, of course, I'd be remiss if I don't talk about commander mode. I'm not going to get too crazy. Basically, what I'm going to do is I am going to do probably a whole separate video on commander mode as we know more. Frustrating thing about doing these videos is literally as I'm doing these videos, they are announcing new things. For one, spectator mode is confirmed. I just saw it in a stream, the stream today. As I was kind of prepping for this video, I didn't get a chance to really add it in properly, but I will do a video on that absolutely, and why I think that's so cool, so important. But let's get back to a quick overview of commander mode. It can be done from an iPad, as we saw. Not sure if it's available on other tablets. One thing they did just announce is the commander is not an in-game player. It's an added player. So basically, if you're on a 64-man server, it's 64 plus 2. It's commander for each side. So it's actually going to be a 66-man server. So you're 32 men on one team, plus 1 commander, 32 plus 1 commander. He cannot be in-game shooting people, as we know for Battlefield 2. Interesting. I don't know how that's going to play out. I'm excited about commander mode. I'm excited to see it in the hands of 008 and me and my friends. I think it was going to be pretty dominant, but at the same time, I could definitely see it being something that people get really sick of. So it's going to have to see how it plays out. I do imagine it will be on the PC desktop platform through Battlelog, probably an in-client version as well for the consoles. We'll have to we'll have to see. My big question is, how is Commander determined? Especially with the guy, who's not actually even in the game. He's on a tablet on his couch. how do we decipher this? Is it just vote? Can I stack my 008 guys on the server and they vote me in or something like that? I don't know. We got to see. We need more information. Obviously, as you saw in some of the other commander mode things, different flags reward different weapons, reward different tools. So certainly some flags are going to give you an AC-130 more powerful than, say, you know, just a UAV sweep. I don't know. I'm just talking here. I know the utility of UAV sweep is great. But, you know, so these points, these capture points are going to be much more tactical, strategic, and important. They're going to be greater conflict points. And I think it's going to enable DICE to kind of dictate the map flow and the map battles a little bit better. That'll be very interesting to see how it pans out. My last point is, please just make this toggleable on the server. As amped up as I am for this and excited as I am for this, I would like to see it just be an option to turn off at sometimes, because sometimes it's not going to be a wanted feature, that is for sure. Now, this next spot, I'm going to just pause real quick. I want to point something out. At the top of the screen, you just see the little map indicator, you know, your overlay, and they have just a little arrow showing you, like, where it is. I think that's great. It's a little subtle thing that I think some of you might miss. You remember in Battlefield 3, these things would be hovering all over you, especially the smaller maps. You get in tight, and it would literally at times, I mean, obviously we knew the maps, but, you know, when you would be on the DLCs, brand new maps, you'd see the B flag, and it would look like it's above you, but as you went above you, it started to move over to your right side, and this type of things. It was a little wonky, so just this little arrow, I think, is really cool, and it shows that they're, you know, fine-tuning the UI a little bit and making it a lot more easy to use and a lot more responsive to just quick glances and things like that, which is very important in a game like this. Now, this next one I'm going to stop at here. This is a heated issue. This is suppression. As you can see, it is clearly there. This guy obviously went up to the top of the steps. He engaged a tank, saw a tank. If you didn't see quickly, he spotted it, but I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. Suppression's there. If you're asking me, it might need to be toned down a little bit, but we'll have to see. From what I understand, again, through the stream, it is more strongly tied towards, you know, support weapons, long-range weapons, i.e. the tank is going to suppress you more than a PDW at close range. It's all about balance, guys, but I'm very happy to see suppression is in there. I'm very excited to hear what I'm hearing, that it's heavier on the support side, and very encouraged by this. I think it adds a lot to the game, and I'm looking forward to using it. Now, here as we get to my next stoppage, obviously you guys have probably seen this little frame quite a bit. Everybody seems to be talking about it. Yes, that is a recon throwing C4. What does that mean? Well, we know at least recons have usage of C4. It could mean every class has usage of these things. We don't know yet. Time will tell. But it is good to see these things getting spread around. I don't know how they would then counterbalance and make the support more valuable, aside from just ammo, because C4 was a very useful tool for support. But it clearly shows they are rebalancing the classes, which I think is pretty cool. We do see towards the end in the little menu in the bottom, med packs do seem to make a return. You see like a little med pack emblem. I can't confirm that, but it sure looks like med packs will be making a return. But yeah, is it only recon? Is it all the classes? Only time will tell. Obviously here, I want to talk a little bit about the more destruction you guys saw. You killed that pillar. Yes, it was staged, guys. If you didn't think this was going to be staged crazy, of course it was staged. The whole thing was staged. Everything you saw at E3 was pretty much staged. I don't care. Cool. End of story there. We'll worry about, you know, gameplay and all that later. I'm not too worried about that because this is clearly built off of Battlefield 3, which I thought personally had great gameplay. Now, this stoppage here, obviously, this is a big one for me. Pretty cool feature. Hadn't thought about it until I started seeing it. This is obviously the new spotting mechanic, new marking mechanic, whatever you want to call it. He clearly takes his hand off the gun and points out a target, and then it is marked on its mini-map, and theoretically, though we can't confirm this, on the commander map. This is a big, useful tool. You know, you're taking armor here and alerting your commander, who has many tools at his disposal, if you're doing your job anyway, to eliminate that armor and help you advance. The trade-off for this is you clearly take your hand off the gun. Now, I don't know if this means you cannot fire your gun at all. Maybe you can. You can clearly see it looks like his hand's still on the trigger, but maybe you fire wildly. You know, maybe you're suffering accuracy penalties, much like a hip fire, something like that. I like this trade-off. You literally, in order to spot, you're literally going to be caught with your pants down in essence. And, you know, in Battlefield 3, there was no penalty to spotting. I mean, obviously, if you were smart about it and you didn't let it get into that cooldown phase, I spam spotting all the time, and I can't tell you how many times it found enemies for me that I didn't even know were there. Not just through smoke, things like that, where I would just be, you know, in a hot spot I knew was a power position, and I didn't see anybody in cover. I would spam, 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 spam. Next thing you know, there's a red Dorito. Oh, look at that. Easy kill. So this is a little more trade-off. It makes you think. You can't just spam it. I like that, especially now that the power of marking and spotting has been enhanced with the commander mode and all his tools at his disposal. Now again, as we see them advancing onto the hotel or tower or whatever it is, actually it kind of reminds me of Zeba Tower, honestly. It looks like they've kind of melded all the DLCs into one big map here. We see a lot of destruction. Look at those little statues blowing up. The windows are crashing down. Pretty cool stuff. You know, some of the graphics are a little rough. Obviously, they're going to clean those up before release. I have a lot of faith in them. They always make things look beautiful. That is one thing I'm not worried about. It's kind of funny sequence, kind of hokey with the elevator, I won't lie. Sure, it'll be cool the first couple times, but when you run out and you see a guy prone with an LMG aiming at the elevator, it's going to get pretty annoying. There's going to have to be alternate routes, I sure hope, aside from just a helicopter probably. One thing that we did see down below, and we're going to see here again in this little gunfight, it looks like small arms. Obviously, infantry weapons can damage helicopters. Now, you could say, maybe I'm lucking out, maybe the guy's lucking out and hitting the pilot. I don't think so. I think he's actually doing damage to the helicopter, so that lends itself to wonder, you know, are you going to be completely helpless? Which is one of the biggest complaints people had, is that when you're an assault or you know, support or even a recon, you had no real way to deal with vehicles, or especially air. You know, sure, you might not damage them very much, but at least you can do something, and that's the idea there, I guess. Here we're going to see some commander mode, that type of things. Basically, here I want to just talk about the dynamic maps. I mean, it's clearly what they're going for. They call it levolution in these things. Here again, you see him mark the target. I don't know why he's doing it, you know, right now, but we'll see. I guess he's looking for some infantry bailing out or something. But here we're going to see, you know, I don't really understand how this goes down. They run through the tower. I don't know exactly what triggers the tower to fall. Clearly you can see the enemy has C, so maybe that did it. Maybe that triggers the destruction. They go in, they're trying to retake it now. I'm just theorizing here. You know, they get in a gunfight. They never actually take the flag back. They get quite close. They know, and I'm not listening to the sound now. They know, and they jump off the building. Obviously it's staged, so they knew they were going to do this. But what indicators are there that the building is going? Is it start leaning and moving and vibrating, or is there sirens going off? I don't know. Listen, guys, it's a staged event. In the game, I'm saying, it's more like Caspian Tower, I think. I don't think you can literally run in around there with like 30 packets of C4 and bring the thing down. I think something in the match triggers it. It falls down. Still cool, but I don't think we're going to start seeing skyscrapers being part of destruction, even though there is clearly enhanced destruction. This is a staged event, part of those dynamic maps, the levolution as they call it, where now C flag was up top on the roof. You had to go up there and attack it. Once you took it, now it's on the ground, it's in that level pile, the rubble pile, excuse me, and it definitely changes the map. Now, one thing we see here, that is the knife counter. Interesting stuff. One thing I can tell you, I am never going to be taking people out with knives. But there you go, guys. There's a quick breakdown. It's a long video, but I've tried to cover a lot, add some insight, not just saying, look at that. So if you want to continue to see me break down some analysis on these things as they come out, because plenty more Battlefield 4 news and info coming. If you want to continue to see me do videos this style, please let me know in the comments. Please hit the like button. That'll only encourage me and let me know this is the stuff that you guys want. I hope you guys are excited. I am, and the deeper I dig and the more I hear, the more excited I want, the better the feeling I get that this is really the game I wanted. And I think we're really going to get an awesome, awesome game that's going to carry us for a long time into the future, for me to make a lot of videos and everybody to enjoy. So until next time, guys, thanks for watching. I really do appreciate it, all the support, and I will talk to you soon. Take care.